afternoon, guys. It's Tyler with High Crucible Steels. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to hop on here real quick and show you while I sharpen the knife I was going to sharpen anyway. Hope you don't mind. This is the Spyderco Tenacious. This has a 8Cr13MoV blade. It's a very nice budget steel, Japanese budget steel. Sharpens pretty easily. Does do pretty good on the stone, especially diamond stones, which is what I'm going to go for today. This one has been sharpened before, and it was one that I had started practicing on to begin with, so there's some scratches, light scratches on the blade. They don't bother me too much. This is really a pickup, everyday use knife that I just pick up. Hard use knife, really. If I was to go out in the woods and pick a knife, this is probably the knife that I would choose just to have for anything and everything. Y'all say hey to Addie. She just dropped the ball right here in front of us. She is looking at it determinedly right now, and there she is. Addie, no dear, shoot the video, okay? No ma'am, you go over there and play. Okay, anyway, back to the video. I wanted to go ahead and start on a 400 grit Atoma stone. That is a stone that does really well, especially for a blade that's already been sharpened and on a lower grit before. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start on that this morning. I did bring my angle guide out just to kind of, I don't have my cube right now, so I'm just gonna use this on the 14. It's probably a little higher than 14, so I always nudge it down a little bit. As you can see, I'm using my whole body for the push-pull strokes, and I'm locking my wrist really well. One thing about these Spydercos that are hard to sharpen, one of the trickeries about these blades and why they aren't a good knife for beginning sharpeners is because of, well, every single blade that I've seen them make, just about, has no sharpening choil, no plunge grind. And so the grind, it is a flat grind, that's great for sharpening, but it goes right up to the tang of the blade, and you just don't have any room to sharpen it. And as you can see, I've already started, I don't know if that'll focus for you, but you can see there that eventually, as I sharpen this knife, that's just gonna get worse and worse. And I'll probably end up having to do my own little plunge grind on all of my Spydercos that I use. So anyway, just want to throw that little piece of information out there. If you are trying to learn how to sharpen, I would recommend going with Izzy. No ma'am. If you are a beginning sharpener, I would recommend you go with a Civivi. Civivis make all sorts of budget knives, budget steels, but they do the heat treat really well, which is very important for any steel. If you don't do the heat treat right, well, your steel's not gonna sharpen very well, for one. It's not gonna have the hardness that it needs to maintain all of the properties that the steel itself already offers, okay? So we're talking about edge retention, corrosion resistance, hardness, and toughness. All of those things, Izzy, no ma'am, all of those things suffer, all right? I picked a stool that has a little rock, and that's not good. All right, let's see if that works a little bit better. Gives me a little bit less room, but I'll make sure you guys can see me as well. All right, guys, and we're back. So like I was saying, all of the properties in your steel are gonna suffer if you don't have a properly heat-treated knife. If that steel hasn't been through tempering, hasn't been heated up to the right temperature, and they mass produce these steels, you know, they do all of these heat temperatures all at once. So it can be that you get a few duds out of the bats that didn't get up to temperature because of the placement within the forge or whatever it may be. We'd have to see the forge that these big knife companies are using. I would imagine that these forges are pretty massive, you know. Civivi is not a small knife company. They've been selling their stuff for, well, I don't know when that knife company came into existence. A lot of these knife companies have been around at least for the 21st century. So I would say since the early 2000s at least, and some before then. So checking that edge for a burr. Don't really have one on the heel yet, but we have one everywhere else. So that's looking good. So right now I'm just focusing on the heel of the blade, and that's it. Just trying to get that last little bit of that burr on there. I think we're already getting there now. All right, last little bit here, the tip. For the tip, you just want to angle that knife just a little bit with your elbow, okay? So I was here, now I'm here, and I'm kind of going between that here and here, right? So from here to here as I go. and you'll see what you need to do when you're on the stone, because you'll see the way you need to kind of roll the blade so that the apex touches, right? And then you're just going back and forth at that same locked angle. There's nothing to it. You just got to practice this muscle memory, that's all. And you're looking for about maybe 3 pounds of pressure at the most. You're not doing a lot of pressure here. You're letting the diamond stone work its magic. And that does feel much better already. Just a few more full passes on the stone. All right, so I'm looking good there. Just go ahead and wipe my steel. What I like to do on the first pass, go ahead and lay down my tip like that and do an edge trailing stroke like that for the first couple of strokes, just to go ahead and help flip that burr right on over. And that's exactly what we've done already. All right, now this puppy is ready to go ahead and go back the other direction. All right, I'm go ahead and lock in my wrist. We're just going back and forth, starting with the heel only until we get comfortable enough to go ahead and add the tip, add the elbow into it a little bit. Does feel quite good already. And not only are you checking the burr, you're checking the scratch pattern, making sure that it goes all the way to the apex. It's hard to do that with the naked eye, but you can tell. If you're looking for the right thing, you can really tell. All right, we're getting everything but the tip here, so I'm just gonna focus on just the tip for a second. So we'll make sure the angle stays the same with the wrist, and then you're just using the elbow. All right, we got a burr pretty much everywhere, except for the heel and the tip a little bit. So that's what I'm working on now, the heel and the tip. Much better. Okay guys, so we finished up this side. Both sides are done now on the 400 stone. Now we're gonna go ahead and do some edge trailing passes on the other side, just to flip that burr right on over. Pretty easy to do, okay? Now we're just doing edge trailing passes, and we're going to do that on both sides before doing edge forward, okay? Alternating edge leading passes, nice and lightly, all you need. And we're just preparing this burr for the next stone. Feels pretty good. Wipe it down. I'm going to go ahead and go to the strop a little bit, back and forth, just once or twice. That's all you need. This is just the suede side of my strop. Love that. Got 6 micron on it. All right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the Sharpal 1200 grit stone. Go ahead and start with some light passes back and forth. Much smoother. This one will take a little bit longer to produce that burr. You don't want to rush this part because we are trying to get that smaller scratch pattern all the way down from the top of the bevel to the apex, and that takes a little bit longer with the lighter grit, but that's okay. You can do this one-handed. I don't recommend it to start with because it's not exactly always perfect, but I like to try and get a little muscle memory going every now and then. And just like I thought, we already have a burr. Feels good. All right, that feels good. All right, so we've got pretty much all the way down like we want it. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. We're just gonna go ahead and do an edge trailing stroke or two. That's just lovely. My next door neighbor decided to mow the grass today. So anyway, I'm probably gonna have to discontinue and go inside. But the point is that the burr is now flipped, and we're gonna go ahead and go to the other side. Maybe it won't be too loud. Just nice and easy back and forth strokes. A lot of the times you can already see the steel powder buildup from the burr on the edge of the apex as you're sharpening, like I can now, and that's a good sign. It just means that your burr is building. We're getting nearly there, guys. Just waiting on the tip to start feeling a little bit better as it is. It's coming right along. And that is it, guys. We already have that burr fully formed. It feels great. All right, so we're ready for those trailing passes, just a few, before we're going back with the leading passes, okay? That's what I like to do, just to help get that burr off of there better. We are deburring at this point, guys. That is it. Unless we want to go up higher, which I don't, not with this blade. I like a 1200 grit on most of my blades anyway. I think it's still a very workable edge, very toothy edge if you want it to be. All right, so after a few back and forth passes, we are feeling no more burr at all, which is a good thing. Just doing a few more light passes just to break off any of that microscopic burr that's still clinging on which it most definitely will be. All right, next step is the stropping. 6-micron stroppy stuff on the suede side of a handheld strop. Tip down first, low angle, light pressure. Back and forth passes. It's a very easy strop to use. I love it. Got it off of sharpeningsupplies.com. No, they did not pay me to plug them, but they do have quite a few good supplies if you're looking to sharpen knives, right? Now, same exact stuff, but on the smooth side of a leather strop, okay? 6-micron. That's all we're going down to with this blade. We don't need any lower. It's around 3,000 grit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have what we will call our final blade edge. Yeah. All right, it's looking really nice. You really can't see that too much, so I will do a little paper cutting test for you. All right, guys, now you can see exactly how windy it is out here, and also how sharp this knife is. That's all it takes to have a very sharp knife, guys. Paper blowing everywhere. Guys, this has been Tyler with High Crucible Steels. Let me know if you have any comments, concerns, and questions. Until then, I'll see you next time. Peace.